r/AskReddit. What is something you wish you knew when you were 18 years old? It doesn't get easier. You get better. Edit. Thanks for the gold. Strangers. I absolutely love and needed this. Thank you. Story time. When I was a freshman in university, I was struggling to hang on. I was doing poorly in all my classes and was on probation to lose my scholarship. On top of this all, I had next to no friends. Didn't get along with my roommate, and I felt depressed and alone. During finals week, I was spending all my time in the library trying to make a last-ditch effort to save my grades. I felt hopeless. There was this monumental task ahead of me that I did not feel like I could overcome. I remember thinking, is it always going to be like this for me? Then I noticed a bit of graffiti etched into the desk. It doesn't get easier. You get better. Something about this little advice lit a fire under my ass to prove myself to myself. I spent the next week practically living in the library, studying, writing, organizing, and planning for my finals. I ended up acing my finals and retaining my scholarship. 6 years later, after starting my first semester with a 2.5 GPA, I obtained my bachelor's with honors and just graduated with a master's degree. That night in the library is one of my most poignant memories and was a turning point in my personal development. To whoever etched those words into that desk, thank you. Just because you finally can eat candy for breakfast, lunch and dinner doesn't mean you should. You are not the boss of me. Yeah. And he's not so big. Set achievable goals and push through to achieve them. Start small and reiterate. No form of birth control is truly 100% effective. You shoulder tried RuneScape, mate. I just came here to have a good time. And honestly I feel so attacked right now. How much I was going to miss my parents when they were gone. And to appreciate them more. BRB hugging my mom. Don't try heroin. I started doing heroin at 17. But I was already an opiate addict at 15. So on this note, I wish I knew how to accept the help that was available to me at 18. Also, I wish I knew that adding fourth cocaine to the mix because duck it. I already shoot heroin isn't a great idea and will only compound the problem. I also wish I knew how much a felony will limit you, let alone multiple. I'm 28 now, so I learned all this the hard way. Coming up on 6 months clean though. Hope you're doing well, man. Nearly all of the cool things you think you are saying/doing right now are almost definitely not cool. But do them anyways. What does dad do when his kids tap back? Brush your teeth. And floss. Dentist visits are expensive. And wear a retainer. If you have one, don't let old braces go to waste. I work in an orthodontic office. I would guess that about 50 and number 37 of my adult patients are retreating because they stopped wearing their retainers. Don't be afraid to go out and do things by yourself. You don't need friends to join you in every activity. That emotions are meant to be felt, and it's okay to have them instead of keep suppressing it. And that it's easier to be honest in the long run rather than lying, even if it seems easier at the time. As an 18-year-old guy who grew up suppressing emotions as much as possible, reading this really helps. I often feel really emotionally stunted and want to change that. Any tips? Edit. Thanks to everyone who responded or reached out to me. You all had really great ideas, and I'm going to try and take as much of the advice and run with it. For instance, my uni does provide a number of free counseling sessions that I'm going to make use of as a stepping stone to understanding better who I am and how my emotions work. Thanks again all. Find some time where you are alone and let yourself let it all out. A good cry can work wonders. I know. It's not as easy as it sounds. I'm going through a time right now where I've had to work as hard as this as I've ever had to, and I'm still trying to get it done. Just let it happen when it does. How to figure out your girlfriend is a cult leader before you move in with her. Instructions unclear. I'm now in a cult. Kelly is your girlfriend? If you don't have a very in-demand major like nursing, can't see, or accounting, Get an internship with related work experience and build contacts that will land you jobs in the future. Then again, also do this even if you do have an in-demand major. How to make $1 million by 19 years old. Alright, scratch ticket, don't fail me now. Saying no is okay. That the people you love will not be here forever. Show them and tell them that you love them and spend time with them now because they will be gone before you know it. I feel like once you turn 18, time starts moving really fast. That sometimes the way we see people and the way they actually are totally different. Edit. Whoever gave me Reddit gold, thank you. Does that mean that other people would think that I'm not an absolute mess? Yet there's at least one person who thinks you've got your hit together. At 18 I told myself that I was in the prime time of my life, so I couldn't afford to waste time and energy to do things like lose weight, get braces, and making other such drastic changes to my life. 18 isn't the prime of your life at all. You'd rather look like a nerd with braces at 18 than in your 20s. When your girlfriend complains to you about a hitty day, she doesn't expect you to jump in and fix all her problems and be her knight in shining armor. She just wants to vent. All you need to do is listen. Even knowing this, it's hard to practice. Always have this in mind before saying a word. Good job with your awareness. If you're having trouble remembering in the moment, you could try asking at the beginning of the complaint sesh. Do you want advice or just a rant? Sometimes it's easier to remember to do a thing rather than to not do a thing. Definitely stole this from another Reddit comment. Can't remember where though. That it's okay to have problems. And that it's okay to talk about them. 18 years old was when I found out that I had bipolar. Second, I didn't do anything with the information. Had no idea what that meant. And I was terrified of the stigma associated with mental health problems. It's one of the few things you can be born with and get yelled at for having. I existed aloofly for the next 2.5 years by wasting my existence, using substances to cope, isolating myself, worrying my family and what few friends I had towards the end. In those 2.5 years I couldn't realize that I was destroying my own life. It was only after I shattered past rock bottom, which is really deep BTW. Scuba gear recommended for this, that I knew something was wrong with me and that I had to fix it. To clarify, I do wish I knew then that there is no honor in enduring, and that there is nothing wrong with fixing one's own problems. However, I favor who I'm currently Marizo than whoever I could've been if I had this foreknowledge at 18. Overall, I'm making this post because I don't want anyone to find out the same way I did, nor put off these questions and conversations regarding one's existence and health. If something feels wrong, speak up. If a sudden moment of clarity causes you anxiety when self-reflecting, ask questions. Don't suffer alone. Don't worry about anyone's opinion on this besides your own. And always better yourself. That everyone won't like you. I think you mean to say not everyone will like you instead of everyone won't like you, meaning noon will like you. Exhibit A. In terms of achieving your goals, discipline, motivation, talent. Could you elaborate on what discipline means? Discipline is the consistency to make progress every day in a sort of routine. You want to be a musician? Discipline is practicing the boring stuff over and over every day until you have it down pat. Motivation is the desire and thrill of performing your music, while talent is obvious natural ability. Not everyone has talent, but everyone can have discipline to constantly improve. Day in and day out, no matter how boring, without needing that thrill. You don't have to love your toxic family members, or even have them in your life. I'm having such a terrible time with this. My parents are the only way I can afford college right now. They are paying, and they make too much for me to qualify for any loans on my own until I'm 24. I'm basically having to decide between my education and my sanity. The miracle of compound interest. But also more important, the curse of compound interest on debt. Lots of people dig holes for themselves and struggle to get out. Don't worry about what other people think. They aren't thinking about you. Don't take that ducking needle. Just walk away. Well, depends which needle. Take your flu shots. Being sick sucks. Or he could be talking about needle and thread. Sewing sucks. It's just so easy to take something to get upholstered or repaired. That it is okay to fail. As long as you learn from your mistake. There are other ways to get to where you want to be. That I should have started saving money ASAP. And start an IRA ASAP. Starting early makes a big difference. As an 18-year-old, WTF is an IRA. Learn when to give a duck and when not to give a duck. Think how things will affect others and put yourself in their shoes. Think how things that get you mad will affect you in 5 years and see if it is worth it being angry. Edit. Thanks for the gold. Allocate your ducks. Edit. Love this quote. Got it from The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Duck by Mark Manson. Lovely book. Give duck equals Moloch, Sizzy Arf, duck. Give duck equals current drama. If give duck equals stupid hit. Free. Give duck. /r/skincare addiction.